This is David Rose from the Guildford Dragon News, and this afternoon we're at Guildford Museum looking at a new exhibition that is titled Soldiers of Surrey. It's the Guildford Museum are working with the Surrey Infantry collection in this exhibition. Most of the items, I think just about all of them are from that, a couple from Guildford Museum, and it's a wonderful look at our local regiment, the Queen's, down the years. There are uniforms, there are medals and badges and that on. And also part of the exhibition here actually features a chap called Jesse Peters. Now he was Guildford's town crier many years ago, and in fact one of the generation of town criers, our town crier today is David Peters, who was, Jesse was his grandfather, and Jesse served in the Queen's, and there's some lovely information on that, and it's really going to be I think a lovely exhibition, and we do hope of course people come along. One of the things that we've thought of at the Guildford Dragon News in relation to this is actually to ask readers about their memories of the Queen's Regiment, and perhaps people who served in it over the years or their relatives. So that's something we'll be asking. And we're going to start off today because the editor of the Dragon, Martin Giles, was a Queensman himself, and he's kindly agreed, well he couldn't get out of it really, to actually tell us a little bit about his time and how he started off in the Cadet Force. So Martin, over to you.
Well, thank you, David. I started off in the Cadet Force, as you say, at St Peter's School, where the unit started up there, and I was about 13. And I mean, obviously at that age you're very naive. There may be a glamour in some people about the military. Anyway, I thought it sounded as if there were going to be opportunities for experiences, training and travel that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So I was a very willing volunteer to the Army Cadet Force at St Peter's. And indeed, you know, it did give me those opportunities, whether it would be on the Confidence course, which is high up at Purbright Depot, firing weapons of different types, going to different parts of England for our summer camp. So yeah, it did fulfil that ambition of mine to experience.
And it exposed you to Remembrance as well, didn't it? Probably more than you had done as a youngster.
Yes, because we would take part in Remembrance services, as you see cadets taking part today. And I think that's a very good balance on reality. You know, this isn't all about glory and glamour. A lot of people died in the wars, which aren't that long ago. The Second World War wasn't that long ago at that time. Everyone knew people that it happened to. And we not only remember the Second World War, but we went to Ypres to take part in services at Menin Gate, at least on 2 occasions I remember. And of course the Commonwealth war graves in that area can't help but impress anyone who visits them.
That's right. And then you joined the Regular Army in 1975.
That's correct.
Yeah, and where was that? Where did you join?
So I signed up here in Guildford in the careers office that was in Sydenham Road. And then after basic training at Bassingbourn near Cambridge, I went to join my unit, the 2nd Battalion of the Queen's Regiment in Werl in West Germany.
Right. And so what was life like for a soldier in the Queen's Regiment back in the mid-70s then?
Well, that's how to sum that up quickly. So let's take a typical period of activity. There'd be a lot of training. So you'd be doing training on all different aspects of soldiering. Could be weapon training, that was obviously very important for infanteers. Could be map reading, could be signals. It could be nuclear and biological chemical warfare, because especially when we were in Germany, we considered that a real threat. And such was the threat that in those days we had a code name called Quick Train, which meant that was the word for us all to get down to the nearby railway in train with our vehicles. We were a mechanised battalion, and to go to our battle position. And we all knew actually that the prospects, if that happened, thank God it didn't, but if that had happened, that our life expectancy was pretty short. And but nonetheless, that's what it was like.
And the daily routine, up early in the morning, going to bed?
Not earlier than most people, probably. I mean, this is the I think the public perception that it's all about getting up early, being shouted at, going onto the square, doing exactly as you're told. And there is a bit of that, but that's only part of it. Actually, modern warfare requires people, you know, and probably always has done to be fair, it requires soldiers to think. You know, the complex weapon systems, tactics itself can be complicated, and so yeah, this perception of unquestioning obedience, there are times when that's essential, but there are also times when self-discipline is the thing that was required, and thinking hard about what's the best thing to do when you're under extreme pressure.
Yeah, and of course, during this time that you were in the army, there were the troubles in Northern Ireland, and
Yes.
I take it you served there.
Yes, so I went to Armagh, County Armagh, to West Belfast and to Londonderry, which we used to joke, you know, all the tourist spots in Northern Ireland. But it was very... when we were going, if we were told we were going, you know, there was an element to worry about it, because people were being killed. We all knew that, you know, soldiers were being killed there, and we also knew that our families were worried. But of course, you're a soldier, that's your job, you go, and there were a whole range of, I think a lot of it was quite routine, but there were moments when it was very boring and tedious, but there were also moments when it was very exciting and interesting, and then moments when it was very scary. You know, one particular incident I can remember is being on a patrol in Turf Lodge in West Belfast, and our tactic was to push the crowd back, even though there were small patrols of us, only 4 in mine, and we ran at the crowd to push them back so that the stones weren't actually reaching us. But as we did, one of my team fell, and the crowd saw that, they checked and were coming back at us, running back at us. So we had a very short time to get back to this guy, pick him up and move back, and then re-establish our position. For a few seconds there, it was really, I thought the crowd were going to get on us, and I knew if they had, our chances, you know, frankly, of being killed were high.
Yeah. And I guess people always have and always will join the armed services for experience. What did you take from that with your time there?
Yeah, well, I would say...
education as well.
Yes, I mean, I would say, looking back on my army time generally, I think it gave me a lot of experience of things I never would have done. One of the standout experiences was going to the Third World in Morocco and in Belize, where you see that most of the world is not like the comfortable existence we have here in Surrey. You know, it's challenging just on a day-to-day basis, and people are extremely poor and live very simple lives. So I think that was a real part of, really educational. And then also, because of experiences as the one I've just mentioned in Northern Ireland, I think it can give you some confidence. You've been in those situations, you have dealt with it, you've been lucky and got out the other end, but you feel you measured up to that particular challenge. And that does give you some confidence for other things going forward. So yeah, if I had my time over again, would I do it again? Well, that's always a big question, but I think on balance I would. I think it's helped to make me the person I am, for good or bad, but I think actually it made me a better person for seeing those things.
And would you do it all again?
Well, as I say, I think I would on balance, because
on
I think it did shape me.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, there are times I can look at it and think, oh, I could have done this. I actually, you know, could have gone to university and done a business law degree. I had the place, but maybe they made lots of money. Who knows? But no, on balance, I'm glad I did that time, and and I'm proud of serving with the Queen's Regiment as well.
Good. And it's a family, is it?
It is. This is a cliche, maybe. People say a regiment's a family, but it is. You know, I mean, people. As soon as you meet up with your old comrades, and you've actually seen that once,
saw that at the Armed Forces Day,
you're back with them again. We've all aged, of course.
Yeah.
But you've got the same old anecdotes. You laugh at the same old jokes, and it's good to see them. And you have been often in really pressurised positions with those guys, and that does create a bond.
Well, great, Martin. That's lovely. Thank you. Let's hope some more people come forward. And we'll also say that in the story with this video, we'll give all the opening times of the museum for this exhibition. And we just hope, don't we, that people come along and have a look at it and also enjoy Guildford Museum and everything else it's got to offer.
Absolutely. I hope people do come and have a look and realise their connection with the local regiment, which of course now is the Princesses of Wales Royal Regiment.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.